What's up, Budget Wargamer? We've got another edition of Budget Wargamer here on Friday evening, Saturday morning if you're on the other side of the world. And we're going to talk about this week's new pre-orders from Games Workshop, which you probably already know about if you checked out our video from earlier in the week, but now we have some substantiative evidence of which we could talk about this more clearly. And if you live here in the US or you live somewhere else in one of the other time zones, I'll give you a heads up. If you want to take a look at the pictures from what's coming out on tomorrow's Games Workshop website in your time zone, skip ahead to the other side of the world, and I change my delivering to over here to New Zealand, and then I can take a look at the models, take a look at the art and all the different stuff that's there on Games Workshop's website. So we've got this nice, cool anime graphic. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my camera so you guys can appreciate that here for a minute. And you've probably already seen a taste of it because it's a screenshot for the thumbnail I'm going to use here in this video. And this highlights some of the evilness. They're sort of evil. I'm kind of torn between these Idoneth Deepkin. Are they evil? Are they good? I think they can go either way. I think they certainly have an evil, menacing look to them with a lot of the sea creatures that they ride. And the Namarti thralls that we see here without the eyes and things like that certainly are pretty ominous. I'm not sure what to make of them, but it's interesting. So looks like with any pre-order of the Idoneth Deepkin, you get a free art card. These are pretty neat because I picked some of these up with some of my orders or some of my special edition box sets, and they go pretty cool back in the case in the good old hobby bunker. I've got just a couple of them back there. I've got some original artwork from Alex Boyd and stuff like that somewhere in the house. I've lost it years ago, but I know it's somewhere. Shame on me, but let's go ahead and dive in. Don't get shocked when you see the prices. It's like, these prices are so high, hundreds of dollars. Well, it's New Zealand dollars. And one, New Zealand dollars aren't as valuable as US dollars. And they also pay a heck of a lot more for the product because they have to ship it to BFE on the other side of the world to get it all the way over to them in New Zealand. So same thing with Australia. Those guys pay way, way too much money for their stuff. So don't freak out, even though it's got the dollar sign. This is not the US dollar. Games Workshop has not radically increased the price for the US market, but here's the confirmation of what's available for pre-order. We have the Order Battle Tome Idoneth Deepkin. I believe that's $40 US. And then we have the Eidolon of Mathland, Aspect of the Storm. So let's take a look at this because this is the coolest model currently out on the pre-order. We should be able to see some of the different configurations of it. Let me make sure it's there center screen. There we go. So it's the 360. Let's take a look at this guy. Spin it around. Look at how those fish just poke out. This really is the craziest model Games Workshop has ever crafted. I really don't have a lot of hope for it to stay elevated. Hopefully they've done a lot of reinforcement and made this something that can actually be a transportable gaming model. Because first and foremost, if you're going to spend the money on this, and I think US dollars, this character is like $80-ish. We'll certainly find out for sure tomorrow. I'm sure somebody else out there in the world has leaked the full price, but I've only seen it in British pounds, which I never bothered to convert, and New Zealand dollars. And you can't really convert either of those directly to US because it's not a straight US to foreign currency conversion rate. There's actually a different pricing tier, such as the people in New Zealand paying a premium above and beyond the conversion rate of just their currency. So here's a close-up. Now this is one of the alternate builds of the Eidolon of Mathland. So here's a close-up. I think this guy is certainly the friendlier looking one. I don't know which one's going to be the more popular. The first one we took a look at here that we're going back to at this full battle screen shot is definitely a more menacing looking one, more dark Eldar looking than he is a high elf looking. See, this guy's more dark elf looking. This guy's a little bit more high elf looking. Just the coloration and the weaponry choices as well as the mask. I want to see this narwhal fish thing with the twin tails. That's like really awesome. So that's what's coming out tomorrow. That was a close deep dive look. Let's take a look at the Namarti thralls. I've been curious. I don't think this is the same box set that you can build with the bows, because I think that's going to actually end up being a totally separate box set, but let's confirm to see if I'm right or if I'm wrong on that, and if there's any additional weapon choices. So we've got these two-handed blades of certain sorts. They certainly appear to be Persian, kind of in their influence, Mediterranean Persian style. Yeah, these guys don't appear to be the ones that you could equip with the bows. So that means that in future releases, we're going to end up seeing a totally separate unit of probably baseline troop choices that are going to be able to have the bows equipped with them. So stay tuned for those. There's a lot more releases coming out for the Idoneth Deepkin, and I don't know how far apart Games Workshop is going to make us wait, because they're doing kind of a half release now and like another half later. I don't know, maybe this represents a third of the army release, because there was a lot of different characters that were coming out. Here's Lotan, Warden of the Soul Ledgers, with the his guardian, his familiar, and let's take a look here. No way if they fit that all on one sprue. Could they have possibly done that? Yeah, I think they did. I think they fit this guy on one sprue. What the heck? He looked like he'd be way more complicated than that, considering they put Space Marine captains on 2 sprues. But hey, engineering marvel, right? So here's, I don't picture a lot of people picking up the Gloomtide shipwreck, unless of course they want to decorate their goldfish aquarium like the teaser video. But it does have some gameplay, and I think it's for teleportation, things like that. I don't know if it does any resurrection. As you know, elves probably can't even be resurrected from the dead, but that would be... Oh, here we go. Aspect of the storm. That's the scarier looking guy. Aspect of the sea. So 2 different aspects. That kind of reminds me of the Satan from the Necrons. And then here the Idoneth Deepkin dice are pretty neat. They're clear like water, or like ice, depending on how you want to see them, but I'm sure it's meant to represent water, especially with the water elemental waves on there. The fact that they're clear kind of makes it a little bit tricky to see them. I wonder how these things will look in person when it finally comes about. And then 2 new paints. You got the Iron Rack skin and Deepkin flesh. At least in my opinion, I think they're new. And then these are not really pre-orders here on this one. These are just a wrap-up of today's orders. So that's the book. The different sets from Shadespire. So I know somewhere on here that they also have the unit cards, the army cards, available as a separate purchase. It didn't look like they had those broken out, but you can see them here. They're part of this Essentials collection, and I know they're available separately where you have the War Scroll cards. So that's a deeper dive visually into the Idoneth Deepkin's pre-releases, which of course you'll be able to take advantage of after midnight tonight, your local time on Friday, aka Saturday morning. And then we're hoping to find out what's coming up the following week, and we'll certainly try to have a video to announce that when it's time. We'll make this one short and sweet. You guys have a great weekend, and I'll try to make some more videos coming up over the weekend for you guys.